Hey, what's up, Facebookers? 2 guesses as to where we are. Taking my buddy from New York here to see Junior's farm. And hello. And we're actually here with Dan Ealey, who was a guest of the McCartneys when they were here in our lovely state of Tennessee. It's a great state of mind and mine. He also has the bass, the Rickenbacker bass, that he gave to Paul McCartney and that Paul gave back to him. So we've come to the farm to hang out, and the farm is for sale. And some talks about possibly purchasing the farm and making it an Airbnb and preserving the musical history, and just saving it for everybody to keep them from developing the land here. So it's gorgeous.
There's places to live. There's very few historical.
Yeah, exactly. So we are at Junior's farm.
That was the guest house, as I call it, where the band stayed.
Mm-hmm.
The gate wasn't here, actually, in 1974. There was a chain across the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch from the house here, and I would see Paul coming down the driveway in the car, and I would run out. My friend said, you ran right out in front of the car. I said, no, I didn't. And we got to looking at the pictures, and there's the hood ornament. There's Paul in the windshield, so I guess I did. I guess I did run out in front of the Look at the code. Fortunately, in 74, we didn't have to worry about a code.
Right? It's the chain. For those of you that are interested, the bass itself has a great story of how it left Paul's hands, got back to Dan's, and then left Dan's hands, and then made a journey to come back to him. So it's an amazing story. We hope to give you guys some more. But for the low price of $2.7 million, you too, yeah, 2.8, we'll round it. Yes, 2.799, $2.8 million, you could own a piece of musical history. So if you're looking to invest, or you would be interested in some information about what we're trying to do to preserve this place for future generations and future McCartney fans, just let us know. So, but this is the Rickenbacker bass.
There's the 2 marks that distinguish it. I don't know if you know the story. I didn't have the serial number for the bass when I sold it in 1974, and I tried to chase it down and get it back. But how we identified the bass is this dark spot in the wood here and this dark spot in the grain up here. This was the 2 signature marks that we looked for, and we eventually found it. It had been in a pawn shop for 10 years in my hometown.
So it was out of your possession for that long?
It was out of my possession from sometime the fall of 74 to May of 2017.
Jesus.
And it went through a lot of hands and changes and ended up in the pawn shop back in my hometown.
And nobody knew its history?
No one knew.
And so as a 19-year-old kid, why didn't you have Paul sign the bass?
Well, I remember having the bass and thinking about I'll get Paul to sign it, but then I just got it a few months earlier from Manny's Music Shop in New York, and I thought, I don't want him messing up my bass and writing on it with a Sharpie. Then I thought, well, I could have him mark on the back, but then I just decided that I really didn't want him messing up my bass. But, Paul, if you're out there and you're watching this, I will let you mess up my bass today. Bass that, out of the kindness of your heart, you took it, you kept it 2 or 3 weeks, you played it, and then you returned it to me because you thought it would, as a fan, it would mean more to me to have it that way. And it's found its way back to me through some spiritual, magical, mystery-type journey. It's come home to Daddy. And if you'd like me to meet you in New York or London, Paul, I'll be happy to come and bring the bass. And I'd be honored to have you sign it.
Show the shirt, too, your shirt.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but
we've all changed a little bit.
Hey, you never know. Universe it's out there now, so it can either happen or not happen. I'm a firm believer in putting belief behind intention. So if that's your intention and it's a good one, so be it. I hope it happens for you. And we'll definitely put the energy towards it for you. But Yeah, guys, we really want to preserve this farm. It's something that there's already houses being built around it, and land is a big thing for us here in Tennessee. And we don't want to see this beautiful rolling farm turned into another subdivision. So,
And next year is the 45th anniversary
Oh,
of Junior's Farm, and on June 18th, Paul's birthday of 74, I was asked to stand here at the gate and regulate who was going to come in. And Roy Orbison came down the drive, and I flagged him in. And it was probably close to 100 degrees, and he was wearing leather. And then Chad Atkins and Jerry Reed. And then I stood here at the gate, and I watched there was a picnic area down by the pond, and that's where they were having the party. And I kept watching, thinking that one of the band was going to come up and get me to take me down to meet Paul, because that was their deal, when suddenly Paul decided to come and get me. And he was wearing the shirt I had sent him a few days before. And there's some pictures of that on the net. And he walked through the field and came up and got me. And first thing he said to me was, "You're the one with the bass." I said, "That's right." He said, "You know, it would be silly for me to keep it." So that's when he decided to let me know it was coming back to me. But
and you know that he played it, correct?
Paul played it. Even though Paul is left-handed, Paul plays a lot of right-handed instruments. And the band has verified with me that he had it up at the garage, and they played it. He was trying to figure out what to do about it, the situation, the dilemma I had created for him by giving him the bass, which was actually Denny Lane's idea. It was Denny's idea. Denny said, "Paul would love this." So I said, "Well, give it to him." And so he decided it would be, according to Jeff Britton, the drummer. He's told me now that Paul had the bass. It was a dilemma for him, but he thought it would mean more to me as a fan for him to keep it and play it and return it to me than it would be for him to just keep it forever. So that's how it came about.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for taking the time to come out here with us today, our first-time visitor from New York City to our fine state of Tennessee. And he's a huge McCartney fan and knows his stuff backwards and forwards. So for folks like us, it really means something. So, oh, no! All right.
That would be awesome.